China is rapidly transforming its military. From aircraft carriers to hypersonic missiles, from cyber warfare to space capabilities, the People's Liberation Army is being rebuilt for one purpose: to fight and win wars. The question is, does this mean China is preparing for war right now? Over the past decade, Beijing has poured unprecedented resources into modernizing its armed forces. The Chinese Navy is now the largest in the world by number of ships. Its missile forces are designed to push rivals like the United States far from Asia's shores, and its nuclear arsenal is expanding faster than that of any other nation, with new missile silos, submarines, and bombers entering service. Meanwhile, military exercises near Taiwan and in the South China Sea have become routine. Fighter jets cross into Taiwan's air defense zone almost daily. Naval task forces conduct live-fire drills in contested waters. And the scale of these operations is growing, with more troops, more ships, and more realism than ever before. China calls this military modernization. But many analysts see something more: preparation for high-intensity conflict. At the center of this effort is President Xi Jinping. Xi has made the military central to his vision of a strong, rejuvenated China. He often repeats the same directive: the PLA must be ready to fight and ready to win. For Beijing, sovereignty disputes, especially Taiwan, are non-negotiable, and Xi wants the capability to enforce China's claims through force if necessary. To understand what this could mean, it's important to look at the scenarios China is preparing for. One is a blockade of Taiwan, cutting off the island from the outside world with naval and air forces. Another is the seizure of small islands in the South or East China Seas, meant to test rivals' responses. And at the far end of the spectrum, there's a full-scale amphibious invasion of Taiwan itself, the most complex and risky operation a military could attempt. Exercises across the country simulate these scenarios. Amphibious landings, missile strikes, cyber attacks, joint command and control drills. Step by step, the PLA is rehearsing for war. And yet, preparation does not automatically mean war is imminent. China remains deeply connected to the global economy. A major conflict would bring catastrophic costs, trade disruptions, sanctions, financial crises, and diplomatic isolation. For a government that depends on stability and growth to maintain legitimacy, this is a serious constraint. This is why some experts argue that China's buildup is meant as much for deterrence as for warfighting. By showing overwhelming military strength, Beijing hopes to discourage Taiwan from declaring independence and to warn outside powers, especially the United States, against direct interference. In other words, preparing for war can also be a way to prevent it. But the risk comes in the gray zone between peace and conflict. When militaries operate so close together, in the Taiwan Strait, in the South China Sea, or near disputed borders, accidents, miscalculations, and political missteps can spiral out of control. A single clash at sea or a mistaken missile strike could trigger escalation far beyond what either side originally intended. That's why regional powers are taking notice. Japan has doubled its defense budget. The Philippines has granted the United States access to new bases. Australia is building nuclear-powered submarines under the AUKUS Pact, and Washington continues to send warships through the Taiwan Strait and South China Sea to signal its commitment. The world is entering a dangerous period. China is preparing for war, but whether it chooses to fight is another question entirely. Much depends on political choices in Beijing, Taipei, and Washington, choices that will shape the balance of peace and conflict in Asia. The future could bring deterrence and uneasy stability, or it could bring open war with consequences for the entire world. So what do you think? Is China building its military as a shield or as a sword? Is war inevitable, or is this preparation just posturing? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into global security.